It's things have changed. Yes, things have changed. We have a lot of reasons why we don't do something different. And I just want to make sure that we do something different because it's a different day and I want to see some change. Now, we've been on the black issue all the time, but we really was just talking about the politics, and we had to segue because we didn't like the way they was talking about black men and black voters. What was it? What I tell you? 74% of black men voted Democrat. 89% of black women voted Democrat, but everybody else was almost 50% or 60% that voted Republican. In other words, there was a stark variation in voting. There was more of a balanced vote. Like people were like, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. You know, I don't like.
But what is the diss and the diss and the diss?
I don't know.
What are people voting
issues,
for?
They had their issues. Whatever the issues were, they decided they like, whether it be economy, whether it be abortion, whether it been immigration, depending on where you were living at. You still saw throughout the country there was more of a balanced vote. While even though we have all these things, we were very much stuck to one party. The defining factor is always middle class, suburban, white women, especially that's in the Midwest. That's the defining party that wins.
Yeah, but it's not that. I did the research on that after you mentioned that. It's not that much higher than white men.
No, it doesn't have to be.
It's a tick higher.
Have to,
I mean, what I'm saying,
it doesn't have to be.
It's like
but
you're making it sound like it's like they,
the men going here and you have the women, and then you take, even if it's 60% of those women voting this way, that defines the whole deal. It's better than the sheer number of them is going to be a better situation than even if you say 70% of blacks, because they have more people and it's going to push that number. So that is the defining deal. You looked at the map when you saw the voting, that shit was right there. It was the Midwest and it was women. Even I have a map where it shows if only women voted, the Midwest, even it showed Kamala winning because she went all the central areas if only women voted, or like the state like Florida, you know, like, so they got the electoral college numbers, but you would see that the whole Midwest, the only thing that changed on that map when they did that was Arizona, Utah, Georgia, you know, it's like those states there. But for the majority of that whole thing, I'll show you the map, it was still the same because those are the determined factors. And when you add the men in, they're voting online with that. That's the
determining factor for who?
For
Republicans or the Democrats?
For just the win of the. If they decide that they want to vote for Democrat, when they vote heavier Democrat, the country, that's what wins. They are the deciding factor there.
Who is?
I knew they were.
The Midwest?
Yeah, Midwest white women. Midwest white women. Yeah. People tend to put them down, especially when you are talking about Republicans.
Putting them down.
When you talk about Republicans.
You say that more women voted Republican than men voted Republican. Or you're saying that more women voted, period, versus all women voting? No, I didn't say that. I mean, all people voting.
No, I said one of the determining factors is the Midwest white woman. That's what determined this election and most other elections, because they are a very powerful force and they tend to vote more.
Yeah, but one thing that you have to factor in that, and I don't know the numbers offhand, so I'm not gonna challenge you per se, is that the Midwest is sparse. So numbers wise, yeah, you're saying state by state in the Midwest more women voted, but does that equal or surpass the number of the populous areas of white women in other areas that may have voted the same or different ways? Talking about a deciding
that's
factor.
What I was saying. Now that's what I'm saying. If only women had voted, then you would have saw that Kamala would have won by a big landslide because of those metropolis areas. But when you factor in with men and the alignments there, then you saw that all of a sudden the states that like the swing states, that's where the determining thing was the fact that these women were voting all over. And so if you have the control with the women here, whatever men vote or whatever, you know, was going on here, as it flips and changes, it was the major part was because this held steady. So if I got this, let me see if I got him on there. If I got him on there, it's gonna be great, but I might not have it. I don't think I screenshotted it. Man, ain't this a bitch? And you'll see what I'm trying to say. You'll see. So, so as I was saying, this would be if only women voted. You see the number of states. You see minus a few states there, and that's the electoral college. You're talking about 5 states that didn't really come aboard because of electoral college. Those 5 states, the majority of everything else never changed. So when the men vote here, the men you brought in the other
So you're saying that's a graph of women only?
On women only.
Okay.
So again, like I said,
still,
it was the Metropolis cities.
But that's still
again, that's the working places. Blah 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 blah. When you add in working men, though, you saw 5 states, because that's really all you're talking about: Wisconsin, North Carolina.
But without saying
Georgia.
that, what I'm saying is, if you flip that to a graph of men, it's not going to change much, because those are all red states regardless.
So that's what I'm saying. So those women are defined.
The populous areas are the areas that are Democrat.
But the last time when the Democrats did win was when women actually voted more. These states here flipped more to blue. When they flipped more and more to blue, and that's when.
But that didn't change the color of the states. There was only 1 or 2 states that went purple, Arizona being one of them. But even the voting pattern of the women did not overall change those states that you're pointing to. They were still red states.
Yeah, those are, because that right there is the power of the woman vote right there.
I don't see the power that you're talking about, though.
Okay.
Because they're still red states, though.
Because they go right, so they're already red, so they go right
and
along.
People shift. I get
they
what you're
go
saying.
right
They
along
shift.
with whatever. People shift, but these don't shift.
Even though more women, if I understand what you're saying correctly, even though if more women in those states voted Democrat, it didn't change the state.
No, it's lost. This is lost. It's not. You not understand what I'm saying.
Okay, but I would like to understand. I want to know.
So how do I make this so it's understandable? What I said in this election was the determining factor. They were talking about everything, and I said the thing that nobody's taking into consideration and what's going to win this election is how Midwest white women vote. Because if they flip blue, you have a lot of small numbers. You have a lot that's sparse, but you have some good electoral college numbers. They flip. If they vote red, they ride in this way. What I'm saying is, because the way that they produce their votes, when you couple in the men's votes, white men especially, you then find that these things, like for instance, you may see a blue state here, it might have been very close. It might have been like 53 to 49. It was not a landslide. Like Arizona was not a landslide of women voting Democrat. It was more closer to 53 to 47. It was not a landslide where, so when you couple in other voters, then you see the states. So the power was in here because it held down the whole base. It was the anchor. It was the anchor, and that was the middle class, suburban white women in the Midwest were the anchor to everything that went on here. So if you ever get them to flip over to blue, like those years that you see way more blue states, and you see the Democrats run away with it. We put it on these little high areas here because they have the high electoral college votes. But,
because they have a higher population of people.
But when it really comes down to it, the base is here. The base is right here.
So I get what you're saying, but sometimes there's only a few states that really they call swing states, right? That the difference is that, in my understanding, the difference is that those undecided voters are the ones that go. Most people,
you can call them Midwest white women.
Well, most people vote year in and year. They vote the same.
Okay.
So and this idea, because of it, this year, because of this whole reproductive rights thing, the idea was that, well, most women want that. They support that.
Yeah.
So they're going to vote that way. That's the idea.
Yeah. But they
forgot
that it was state rights, and states put up their own little things to decide.
Right. So, the knock in the head is that, well, most women are not rocking with that. I mean, I'm not going to get into particular, but I'm just making it simple. They're not rocking with it, obviously. And there are other issues too, right?
Exactly.
There are other things that they vote for now.
And in the Midwest, they're looking at farms. They're looking at economic. They're looking at how we they got a whole different genre of than
well, I mean,
New
and that's
York
what
City.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Interest. And go back to that thing. We ain't gonna get back into it again. Interest. Everybody got different interests. What concerns a person in the Midwest? Are they really concerned about reproductive rights as much as, not suburban, but inner city, and I don't just mean black people in highly populated cities, metropolises.
Right.
Or they don't really, maybe they don't really have that concern. They don't really care about that as much.
Not as much. We got other shit to do. We got farms to keep working.
No, that doesn't mean that, and this is where I don't really so much fault the people, I fault the parties, because when you, back to what we're talking about Kamala again, or the party, because they dictate what your platform is going to be, you just harping on one thing. Like, people are not concerned about all the other things that we deal with every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you change it. You make it, turn it into something else. Your right to, to do what you want to do with your body. You're saying that everybody's got, men or whoever, your reproductive rights, when all you're really just talking about abortion.
Yeah.
Now, that's a good branding thing, good packaging. That's a good card Monty. Right? To say, oh, well, it's reproductive rights, but what you're really just talking about is abortion.
Right.
And but you know better to say it just that, because that doesn't massage the ears as much, because not everybody is down for that. Even if you, unfortunately or fortunately, how you want to look at it, have to make that choice in your life.
Right.
It's not a choice that most people are going to be out there saying, guess what I did today?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So the miscalculation, in my opinion, as a layman, is that you put that the issue forefront, and you miscalculated that's something that all women should be rocking for.
I wonder if they really miscalculated, if that was just the only thing they could make work with her.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like
miscalculation. It didn't work.
But what else could she have stood for?
There's a whole bunch of stuff she could have if she
what?
knew. If she knew.
Like what?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of concerns.
I know there's a lot of concerns, but what could she have fit the bill for?
Well, what has she done? What has she supported in the? Well, I mean, that's not the only thing.
Like,
so
what,
I'm not going to.
No,
I forgot about the whole. Well, the transgender thing, the immigration thing.
That's she could stand on it, but she was kind of shady.
Well, I'm not saying stand on it, but because she did. I mean, that was her lesser platform. I mean, that was her other things that she talked about. That was supposed to be her
deal, but
those are things that are divided the country.
Yeah, but I'm saying like when they because her immigration deal wasn't that good. Like, she didn't do well with that.
Well, in all fairness, so to say that she did or didn't, she's vice president. At best, she could say she support these things, but because she support the
immigration
president.
czar.
Right. Well, that's
so
what I'm
then
saying.
that means you was supposed to run that shit up.
Well,
she didn't do that well with it. I'm rocking
with you.
I'm just saying there was really nothing else that they could really platform and say, yo, we gonna push her with this. Like, she had kind of was in a box. Like, you can
hence my
so it wasn't a miscalculation. It was the best calculation they could make.
Well, hence my assertion that she was not ready for prime time.
I agree. I agree with that.
That's why I say that.
I agree.
You're not talking about the economy, and when you talk about the economy, you're saying things that are kind of really insulting. And again, 3-card money.
Right.
And at the 11th hour, you're trying to throw this fake Hail Mary about, because you see that the strategy of disrespecting black men
didn't work.
Who wasn't voting for you, and I'm glad other people, even white people, rose the question, well, white men aren't voting for you either.
I had to.
Those white men are not voting for you.
I had to get on some people.
You're not.
So people tell me that. They're like, yeah, black guys. I said, whoa. I had to say, those white clients that say that shit. I was like, hold up. Boy. I was like, hold on, what do you mean? I said, out of all parties, we have the greatest party affiliation and the highest number of percentage of voters. What do you mean we ain't doing it? You better talk to.
Which is a lie.
And then when I went, I said, you better talk to your other white ladies.
Yeah. And you said it at the top of this.
And it was hot. I was like,
yeah, you said it at the top of this though. You show where the black men are voting in high numbers still, despite, which I have an issue with. I have the same issues you have with that. Like, Negro.
Come on, man. Let's figure something out.
Are you trying to get some pussy or something, or what?
Gotta be. Well, you know that's the other thing. They're like, don't give them none if they don't vote Democrat.
Oh my God!
I'm like, come on. I'm like, have you heard of some of that on the face?
Yeah, and that's one thing. It's like it's just insulting things.
Like, come on, man.
But they're hard-headed. Instead of really dealing with the hardcore issues and the real issues, they're throwing these insulting things out there like we're that low vibration, that we're that low intelligence. That's all we're doing. We're voting because we think our woman is not going to have sex with us.
That's it. That's all.
We're voting because
that's nonsense
of all these other side issues and not the issues.
Right.
And that's insulting in itself. That's why you did not win.
That's exactly. I'm with that.
But they're hard-headed. They still... Or even the day after,
I guess you're gonna stay. Wait, I guess you can still be hard-headed if you still got 75 and 89% of people voting.
It doesn't matter if you lost.
Can be hard. You captured what you wanted to capture. That wasn't going to be your win anyway. You talking about the smallest percentage of votes and as your win. You ain't gonna win anyway if you trying to get 6 to 8% of the votes. That's my win.
Well,
that ain't gonna win. You better get that one that's 30 and 40% of votes. 6% is, I hope they vote for me. I hope we get some things right. But I need to make sure that I win.
Right. So there are two things. And people are going to conflate this. People are going to walk away from it, the pundits or whatever. They're going to say whatever narrative they want to.
Fuck the pundits.
Two things happen. People stayed home. Mm-hmm. And some people jump ship.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those were the people who, and I'll throw another one in just for shits and grins. Those purple people, those undecided independents who are really every election, it's like 20%.
Yeah.
Those are the people that both sides fight for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Other people, they're married to the party.
Yeah, they are.
Only thing that changes a consciousness about a party is time, over time.
Yeah.
All right. If you think about the annals of history, people at one era voted for this, and then all of a sudden in another era they voted. It takes time for that to happen because a bunch of things happen throughout the course of time.
We ain't changed.
We
ain't changed.
Okay, so
we ain't changed.
Those are the people that, the numbers didn't add up for her that stayed home. Those people who voted Republican, the numbers I don't think the numbers were that significant in terms of who voted Democrat last time and who voted Republican this time. And that's evident in the numbers that you showed me about who voted Democrat.
Yeah. People were voting.
And I'm surprised because I'm thinking like the way, and I know I keep saying this, but this is what they did. How they were disrespecting black men instead of coming to them and saying, okay, my brother, what is your concern? How can we get together? Putting black women against black men and making people think black women is the heart and soul of the Democrat Party and black men need to get on board and this and that and all that kind of stuff. To your point again, you're saying that more white women voted Republican this year, right?
Yeah, they was like,
Did you hear any of them talking about how white men are disgusting and they should?
Well,
did you hear them do any of that?
The only ones you heard talking that didn't have no white men.
Well, the Democrat white women were doing that.
I know, because they ain't have no white men. They was
I'm just saying,
they was them independent women that
right,
was talking that shit. But anyway, I digress.
To appeal to a group, that's not how you get their vote.
Yeah, no, but they don't. They just do that because they
think they can handle us that way.
And the numbers show that they'd handled it.
Right. So
75 and 89%.
I'm still blown away, even though with that number that black men still are hard-headed enough to want those who did, because there's a group of black men that either stayed home or jumped ship.
Yeah.
They're like, they saw the shit. And I know many groups who are like, they're fighting tooth and nail, like, ain't no way. Ain't no way you're going to come at us like that and we're supposed to support you.
Hey, it's done.
So
done.
It's just low-level, unintelligent, elementary way of dealing with Mag the Stallion. And there's so many things that we're doing. I know from a conservative standpoint, people have a different perspective of why their guy won, right?
Yeah.
And most of the economy, what happened in the last 4 years, all that stuff is true.
It was.
All that, it was. I don't think it was. I never think
just
it's one thing.
It's never ever one thing.
The reason why she didn't cross the borders because it's just so many things that she did and that campaign did that was so wrong that people still the day after they still won't even fess up to admit it, like to address the issues, and so you don't do the same thing next time.
Yeah, no, that because you still got those solid people like they're mad because it was, I hear growing, you didn't take care of me as a woman and my woman rights. But everybody else I talk to, because you know me, I talk to white, black. I've got some Asian people I talk to. Like I'm all over the board with talking. And the ones that voted Republican, they said economy was the biggest deal. I felt that I had more money under Trump in these last 4 years. I felt
my
less.
nose on camera.
Oh shit! And then they felt like they ready to take a chance again. They're like, I'll take a chance. That's what they felt. The ones that voted Democrat really were on the sexual the body pot. What's it called? Fucking abortion. I mean, I can't say abortion. I mean the off killing this unborn child.
Reproductive rights.
The deleting of unborn children.
Reproductive rights.
Yeah, that was their deal, and
that was really, a rebranding.
And that was really when I talked to it boiled down to those two issues. There are other things in it. Like people's like, man, I don't like Trump. Like I had guys, these white men, they like, man, I don't like Trump. If this dude came and saw my daughter, oh man, I'd lose my shit. I'd try to they don't like him, but I felt like I had more money, and when it comes down to that, I needed to make this shit because I got to make other shit happen.
Yeah,
that's what it came down to.
Right, and that's my whole point about the whole thing is that people still will vote their interests, right? So even if there are you're not going to get everything in one candidate.
No.
So, if a person is whatever, and I don't want to make any kind of disparaging thing about either one of them at this point, it doesn't matter. But, people argue make a case against Trump for things that other people don't care about, and this other people do care about. Kamala Harris, I think it's just a totally different situation. It's just too many things.
Yeah.
From the way the Democrat Party handled Biden, which Biden was weak and Biden was going to lose. Unfortunately, and I'm not going to make fun of it, unfortunately, time caught up with him and he's don't have his faculties anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make fun of that. That happens to our grandparents. That happens to our people we love every day. It's just so happened that he's the leader of the first world. And they did a knee-jerk reaction to his condition that he can't help, whether you like him or not. He can't help that.
Right.
Time caught up with him. And by the way, he's not the first president that lost his shit in the White House. The difference is, back in the day, people were honorable enough to protect the president. And you never knew that they had issues that you found out 75 years later that he had some issue, whatever.
Right.
We live in a new time now. People don't do that. People leave the White House and leak every fucking thing. So I know that's a side issue, but I'm saying they did a knee-jerk reaction to replace him. They knew that they couldn't step over the vice president because rightfully so, the vice president is the one that would be the second next second up. They wanted to. Mm-hmm. But the way they did it was, instead of going to the party and having a vote or whatever, they just put her in there. They had all these other weird things going on.
They didn't want to give up that money, man.
Well, but this is the thing. I know you keep saying the money, and you're right. However, a person that they would have chosen that the party had voted for could have, the donors could have said, we'd like this person, whoever it would have been.
Yeah.
They say Shapiro, whatever. So they could have still said, well, you know what, this guy, he's even better than both of them. Let's draw a lot in with this guy or this woman.
Yeah, but they know,
I just have to be political. This woman.
They know this is the art of the sale. Yeah. You don't give a refund because you ain't gonna get that shit back. You don't give the money back to get it again. You ain't gonna get that shit back.
Yeah, but you can tell a vice president. You can tell a vice president if they're going to be president, if they got presidential chops while they're vice president. And I know they're limited. They don't really have a whole lot. People think that I know that this most of their ceremonial, and they still have responsibilities and things. And most of their thing is to support the president, right? So, but it's the way they do it. Like Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney could have easily been a president. As horrible as but he was
off the chain though.
But he was a symbol of strength.
He was the president. He was the president.
Right.
You can't do all that shit if you in the light.
Yeah,
I'm
but I mean,
behind
he was
the-
a symbol of strength. He knew the issues. He was an international. He
Yeah,
dealt
he
with people.
wasn't gonna win president though.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think Dick
No,
Cheney
they
would?
wouldn't have got him president.
He had too much
He's had much
baggage.
shit. They was like, we'll fuck with you from the background. Go ahead and keep shit popping.
But I'm saying that he was a competent person, though.
But how many vice presidents did become president? Because most of the presidents seem to
Henry Ford became president
Okay.
after Nixon impeachment.
Right.
Al
Al
Gore lost.
But he didn't win. But he was
Al
short,
Gore
and,
lost.
and he never won again. He didn't win the election after that, did he? He got
No,
put in, but he
no.
didn't win the election,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he
That's
didn't
when
really.
you had,
so he didn't
Nick-
become president. Yeah. I'm just
Well,
saying,
he
like
wasn't elected.
he couldn't get elected. Like he was.
You're right. He didn't get elected
You know.
president, but he stepped in after
Yeah.
the impeachment.
Who else? Gore didn't get it.
Gore didn't get it. No, not recent. There was some in the past, but I don't
Only, yeah,
remember.
yeah. Only Biden right now. They pushed him. And
after Eisenhower, there was what's the other
Taft.
guy?
That was way before.
No, that was way back. What's the guy name? Water glasses, little guy. Oh, not after Eisenhower, after Roosevelt died. What was his name?
I forgot now. I'm getting mixed
He
up.
became president.
Okay.
And he was like,
But did he get voted in after that?
I don't remember.
That's what I'm like. This
don't
vice
remember.
president might move up, but it's not many that get voted in.
You're talking about like in the next election?
in the next election, like, okay, the president served his term.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this shit no more. The vice president say, okay, I'll do it. They don't get in.
I can't remember.
It's like their highest level is vice president. Like this president for a reason. You're vice president for. You're not going to be president because you weren't there. Like I think.
Oh no! Damn, the first Bush.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, Bush.
So we had two.
Bush.
So we had two.
Yeah.
But
he
most,
got reelected.
Yeah,
didn't he?
but most, he got elected. Yeah, most don't win that race though. Most don't either make it or they don't win that race as president.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's like yeah, you're vice president, but we're gonna get somebody totally different for president.
All right.
This person where so I don't know. I think Biden just caught the wave and he had a good push. You know, and in both of those they had good pushes from the previous president.
But this is the first time in history.
They came off a good run. Like Bush came off a good run after Reagan.
Yeah.
He came off a run after Reagan. They was like, oh no, we're rolling. Just like Biden came off a good run from Obama.
But was he I don't remember. Was he a one term? He was a one-term president.
When he two term?
Because
George H. When H. Bush when he two term?
I don't remember because that was he.
But he did get
because
elected.
he ran against.
Yeah, but he did get elected. Like he wasn't. You know, he got elected.
Yeah,
as
but
president.
that was the end of
So
I'm
right.
coming back
Yeah.
to me now. That was the end. He didn't come in. He ran.
Yeah, he ran.
Because he came in after what
Reagan.
you call Reagan's second term.
Yeah, so he
Right.
ran.
So
like I'm
we're
saying,
talking about
so like
before
Biden
your
did
term
that.
is over or after your term.
No, I'm
is
talking
two
about
terms.
Can you win? Like I'm not coming in as just your president got sick and you just came in. Like
Yeah, yeah,
no,
you're
did you
talking about-
run?
yeah,
Did you
yeah.
run and win?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, and most vice presidents
Bush
can't run
did.
and win. And Bush and Biden.
Bush and Biden. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
most of the time you don't have that vice president be able to pull. It's like I think those were two where you had such a high ride that people were like, let's go for it.
So let me throw a wrench in
Because
your
right
game.
after Bush, you had Clinton. Like, it was like, oh no, it
Yeah.
ain't the same deal.
Right. Now Clinton just marked a different era of freshness and youth. Not that he was a kid running, but it was an era where he just brought in he was just a different kind of politician.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he screwed it all up.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
it's different. I mean,
Well, yeah.
he still got two terms, didn't he?
He got his two.
And
yeah.
then Bush, the next Bush got two
He
terms.
got him a little impeachment in there for
Yeah.
measure.
Feeling like knocking them boots. Yeah, get him.
That
Get him.
motherfucker totally fucked his legacy up, but people still
ain't
rock
fucking
with
up.
him.
He did what he was doing. He did the same thing he was doing back in Alabama. Was he?
Oh, no, yeah, of
doing
course.
The same
He took
shit.
that shit to the White House.
He was like, yo, where else you gonna take it? I'm in the White House now. I'm about to do that.
Yeah, okay.
Like me and my 3 wives that you said
Yeah,
that
exactly.
they gonna give me.
Exactly.
Because I ain't married. they gonna give me. Yeah. Your ass.
So let me throw a wrench in the you know, people will get mad about this. Do you think that it would have been a totally different dynamic had they chose Michelle Obama?
Yes. The reason why, just her presence is going to be better. She's going to come back from President Obama, so people are going to kind of flock to that. Thirdly, on a world stage, she has a little bit more presence. Yeah. On the world stage, because that's what also one of the things I said with Kamala, like on the world stage, I'm not saying Trump is the greatest thing, but on a world stage, I don't know how she stands up and looks against all the other leaders.
I don't think she know foreign policy.
Yeah, I don't think she would be. I'm like, how we gonna get this deal done? Yeah. But Michelle has a little bit more. Sorry, y'all, but Michelle has a little bit more oomph to that. So I think that would have been a whole different outcome. Even with the people that like, I don't like Michelle, and people would have got behind that. One, she would have talked a better game. She would have had answers. She would have had different. She got in with the people a little more.
She got political chops.
She's got a presence. She would have been.
And she's likable.
Yeah, like I know they wanted, but she didn't want to run, and they couldn't figure out how to get her in there. But no, that would have been something. Like I could see her. They trying to push her for the next election when I run.
Do you think? So you're gonna be running against her?
No, sure will.
So do you think that? How you think that? What they call it? The convention would have handled that. Had it been the same scenario, okay? And I know we're going off the chains, but hell, we're talking. So same scenario. Biden, they got to get Biden out, right? They can't step over Kamala because she is the vice president,
right? So
there are rules to that, right?
Right.
But they know Kamala is not a viable candidate. She wouldn't be a viable. She's not gonna. Because I think that if they didn't think they were gonna, if they thought the will wouldn't have worked,
right?
Kamala never would have been. They would have found a way to not. Even if they would have went to the convention and voted for a different candidate, right? That's the only way they would have been able to not use Kamala, I think.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right, that's the only way.
So then they have the people that they would bring up to say, okay, who they gonna bring to the convention?
Right.
The convention says, part of them say, we want Michelle, and then somebody else say, we want Buttigieg, Shapiro, or we want Buttigieg, or whatever.
Yeah.
So then whoever that would have been the one, right?
Right.
Do you think that would have made the difference?
Yeah, because she would have spoke more just in. I don't know if her talking points would have been so much different as her main talking points. It would have just been the manner that she talked. It would have been the banter and the professionalism that she talked, and it would have been her full presence.
Yeah,
she has a great presence.
Yeah, when
she walks in the room, she walked in the room.
Yeah.
Like she has a presence, and that is one thing that also you look for a leader. Like I think one of Kamala's biggest challenge was her presence didn't pop like that. Like you see her, she's attractive. She comes on, it's like okay, but there wasn't that presence. There wasn't that air. Yeah. Like Michelle has that air. Yeah. Even though she was just first lady, like she has that air. Hey, Obama's sick today. Hey, I'm here speaking on his behalf, and everybody like, okay. What you gotta say? You, even if you don't like her, you still gotta kind of sit back and be like,
you gotta respect her presence.
Yeah. So it would have been a little different. I think she would have had a different vote at a swing state, and I think she would have had more to say about when they ask questions about economy, when they ask questions about immigrant, when they ask, even if she was filibustering, it would have sounded better.
Yeah. And I definitely think she would have been I don't know if she's even interested in being in politics. I mean, she kind of is, but not really.
Right.
The whole first lady thing. But everybody wants her to. However, we did the same thing with Hillary. And look what happened.
Hillary was a little hard. Now, I'll tell you, on the paper, Hillary would have been a great president. On attitude and how her flavor went, she couldn't really quite relate. I never
understood, and I'm gonna make this a two-part because we've been on here long, so I'm gonna make it a two-part. I never understood. I just never understood what people didn't like about Hillary Clinton.
She just couldn't get down with the person. She couldn't, even though you got boom, 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 you still have to relate to people. You still got to have some type of relatability to somebody, and she couldn't quite relate. Even with people that support her,
she couldn't relate to.
She couldn't quite soften the blow. She's hard. She's ready.
So she's almost like she was talking down to them, or talking from the mountain, or
she was almost talking down, and you couldn't quite get her feelings. Like you want a blank slate, but it was like
because then she did. I don't remember a lot, but she did talk about the middle class. And the working class white person.
She had all the shit. She pandered to the black. with the hot sauce. She did this. She did that. She did all the right things. But she's just a little too. I think she was just a little too rigid.
Yeah.
You couldn't get past the politician to see, oh, there's Hillary.
Yeah.
You got to have some type of, that's who that is. Like, whether you like it or don't. Some relatability. And I think that was her biggest deal. Because that was one of the things I was like, God damn, Hillary. But as a president, as a person that stood on the stage around other leaders, somebody that knew the job,
she's been in the game
somebody like Hillary was that. Like that was.
She was a senator.
That was the deal.
Was she a senator or a congresswoman? I can't remember
senator.
Which one she was.
Hillary was that thing. Like she really had the best.
And she had the political muscle behind her.
Yeah. So that.
But the polls said that. Up until the day of the election, everybody said it was in our favor, and everybody was brokenhearted because she didn't.
It was.
So that's why I say.
But it was that relatability. It was that relatability. I think that caught at the very end, where people was like, because both were household names.
And they were saying
for
things
different
like
reasons.
she's just got a lot of baggage, and I'm like, what is the baggage? And not to say that it wasn't any, I don't know. I just couldn't figure out what. Being the first lady was the baggage, or what was the baggage?
I think she handled the first lady thing fine. I think part of it was the Benghazi deal. They kept bringing that up, and that was tugging at people's hearts. Like, you let somebody no, this is government. Like, we had to let that go to keep this going. We need this war going so y'all can have some good life. So we're gonna let this happen. And that was the thing that came out and that people didn't like. I think that was one of the biggest deals of what's going on. You're not protecting the country. You're gonna let our soldiers die. And it was
And the funny part about it, soldiers die in every administration.
But the way that one happened, and the way it was hidden, the way it was on the emails, the whole deal. There was some slide shit. It was like,
that was nothing nasty.
And then So I think that was the big deal with her. When they find the right woman that can kind of be personal but be hard.
Do you think, let me ask you another question. I'm asking you the questions. I'm interviewing you today, my brother.
Good shit.
This whole battle about men not wanting to vote for women because they're women. That was one of the big things, and I'm sorry, guys, I have to do it in the black community. That's what was knocked over black men's head, that we weren't voting for Kamala Harris because she was a black woman, and we're misogynist because we're not choosing a black woman.
I think the thing with that was, number one.
I didn't ask you my question yet, brother.
Go for it.
No, I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
I was like, fuck your question. I got something to say. But I think with Kamala, it was not the fact that she was a woman. I think the factors that came with that was you pandered to black and you're not black. Technically,
thank you.
But that was the first thing. Then then there was already talk about what's going okay, the economy, black people thinking of voting something different. We see how Biden did. You didn't have any other statements. The history of Kamala as a DA, like a district attorney, that was going around. There was a lot of things that affected black men that nobody wanted to address.
Thank you so much for saying that.
I think that was the deal. So it wasn't a factor of a woman.
Exactly.
We vote for women. We love our mama. We the only people that we love our mamas like shit.
Yeah, but to use that as a way to sway somebody to vote was disingenuous and disrespectful.
Well, that's what the game is now with ladies.
Because if we're not supposed to be engaging in gender politics, if we're not supposed to be voting for someone because of their race and their gender, why are you using that as an argument against a certain group of people?
Because that's
hypocritical.
Yeah, it is. But that's excuse me, ladies, but that's what ladies do. We know that, but
the
it's all
rules
good.
Don't apply to us.
But that's what happens.
So I don't believe that. And I'm going to say this. If a person decides that they don't want to vote for you because you're a woman, that is their individual choice.
That's what rights we want. And if
you
vote for her because
that they don't want to vote for me because I'm a black man, as I could say that's wrong. It is. Wrong. You should use more than that. But at the end of the day,
that's what it do.
That is your choice.
That's your vote.
That's your choice.
That's your deal. That's the deal.
It's just as wrong to say you should vote for me because I'm black.
Yeah.
Everybody's been telling us this for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Than to say that the other way.
They're going to be mad because I'm going to be like, don't vote for me, black people. I'm going to say it, man.
Well, the white folks ain't going to vote for you because you're black either.
That's
So
all right.
I mean, what
That's
you gonna
all right.
do? Somebody's got to
That's
vote
all
for
right.
you.
Somebody gonna vote
Oh, the middle
Class
Midwest
white lady.
white woman.
for me. Your candidate, ladies. I got you. I got you. Shit. But somebody gonna vote. But here's the deal. As long as I get my ideals out and put some change up in there, that's me producing in this electoral process.
You gonna have a bunch of white women at your rallies with
Maybe.
babies, little half white babies in
Probably.
their hand.
I hope so. I hope so. Change the country. I hope so. Legacy, baby. Genghis Khan. Legacy.
I
Genghis
told you
Khan
about
up in
Genghis
here.
Khan last week.
That's all right. He got 3% of fucking Chinese still related to his ass. That's that's 5 billion. 3% of that.
Just spread
Genghis
the
Khan was
seeds.
my granddaddy.
That's the only reason why he was conquering all those places.
That's all right.
Give me 4 of them.
He won.
Give me 4.
He won.
Yeah, he won.
He won. We still talking about him.
Yeah. Give me 4 of them.
you look like your daddy. but no, man. But no. That's
We say this every 10 years and every election, every 10 years, that there's a change in the consciousness of America and all this kind of stuff. People, at the end of the day, regardless of what people say, regardless of what the media say, people still vote a certain way.
And that's why I realize
And
it ain't
beat
about to be a
upon
change.
Other groups of people, and see, and this is so funny. Not that we should, because again, at the end of the day, you vote who you want to vote for. You don't beat up on white guys for white men, and to a lesser degree, white women, for voting the same way all the time. And it's not always, because I know this is your platform. It's not always about business. There are other issues that people are staunchly against as conservatives that they fight against. Like, for example, the whole A thing. There's a group, religious right people and people who are maybe not be religious, but they stand on principle on being against that.
Yeah.
That's their sole issue.
Yeah.
Everything else, you could be holding people by the crotch area. You could be a 3-time felon, and you can, do all these horrible things that people say your candidate did. They don't care. They don't want the A word.
I think
and
that,
this guy is against the A word. Or this guy, he's going to send a group of people back down, illegals back down to where they came from.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yeah.
A lot of people are single issue people.
Yeah.
So,
That's how it works right now.
and that's not to say.
I think that's smaller. It's small, especially at A1. I think it gets smaller and smaller. I think it's brought up, and it's a we're a hot button society. We're an emotional society. We're like a reactive. We're always
the parties know that. So they
bring them up. They bring it up.
Right.
But I think they have to get the timing right, because you bring it up too early, people forget about it. You bring it up too late, it's like, they just trying to bring this up. People get a little smarter with that. But we're a hot button topic thing, and you drill in what area. If you're doing your marketing right, you drill in what area. If you're in the borders, you better talk about border shit. If you in these high cities, you better talk about.
But if you're
in the Midwest, you better talk about jobs and farming. Like you better have something for everything.
People want jobs all over the place.
But I'm just saying, like farming, like what are you gonna do with the farmland? What are you gonna do with agriculture?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about farmers of America putting food on the table? Like you gotta.
I think that's we'll save that one, because there's some issues there.
There's some issues, but I mean that's a big thing. I know some farmers out there.
But you're talking about people not wanting handouts and stuff like that, and they do get a lot of them get a lot of federal assistance.
Yeah.
So, but that's an interest.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's an interest.
Yeah. So I still want to make us an interest.
Fuck your A word. Fuck your borders.
Right.
I got to keep this damn farm running.
That's right. I got to feed mine, and I got to feed you.
And people in populated areas, they want jobs and opportunities, and they want you to affect industries in a way that trickles down to them or allows them to level up.